All right, so this video is going to be completely TMI, but I'm going to keep it real with you guys because I said I would, and I'm going to share everything, the good, the bad, the embarrassing, when I screw up. So I can't feel wet and dry sometimes, so I could like put my hand in the shower or be in water or in the rain and not, my body doesn't tell me it's wet. So and also with the memory issues I have. So I have my period right now and I can't remember when I do. And I can't feel wet or dry. So I put on light colored pants and I got all ready and I had a really cute outfit on and I went to, just walking around, whatever, waiting for mom. So I was like, I'm gonna just wait for mom. And then all of a sudden, I remember that, wait, Ashley, you have your period. And I was covered in blood all through the back of my pants, just completely covered in blood. So I would have went to the school meeting now saying, let me talk to all your children, as I'm literally covered in period blood all over my pants. And because they were light, it wasn't something you could miss. You saw it everywhere with me. I've been walking around. Every single person would have seen it. So God is really good and in the details. And even when we can't help ourselves, he helps us. So one of the stories that I'm going to tell at this seminar is that my stepmom, she was a horrible, horrible abuser. She spent my entire life abusing me horribly, speaking death over me, telling me boys would never like me because I have pimples, criticizing how I dressed. Literally thousands of things. It was every day. My mom signed me up for these pageants and she said, yeah, but Ashley, those girls have a talent and they're really pretty and you don't. So, and then, what had happened was, there's a million things that really stuck with me my whole life. I was to the point I used to not look anybody in the eye because I was so ashamed of my face because she made me feel so disgusting. So I would look like this and stare down and I would never ever look at anyone. I was scared to date because it really ruined my self-esteem and it was something I had to rebuild over many of years, and that was from words. Yeah, she beat the crap out of me, would squirt toothpaste in my face. She would put my plate of food down with the cat food plates. We had 6 cats and make me eat with them. And it was very humiliating, my childhood. There was a lot of shame. I came home late one day, so she made me literally get naked and strip searched me. And when I was 10, I got accused of using cocaine because she was in the mirror and she was looking at her nose. And I said, oh, I don't have nose hair. And she literally told my dad I did cocaine. And I got my ass kicked. So my dad was kicking my ass very often, but literally 80% of the time or no more, it was my stepmom would lie to him and tell him things and try to get me in trouble. So I'd get my ass kicked. So not only did she literally hated me, and she would tell me like, I don't have unconditional love for you. And she made it really clear she literally hated my guts. Everyone knew, my whole family knew, my dad knew. I was trying to get help for a long time, telling my counselors at school of my abuse. They put me in the hospital a couple times, and I would tell everyone, like, I'm being beaten, I'm being abused, this is what they're doing. She didn't like my shirt I wore to school one day, so she physically shredded it off my body. It was a blue snake print shirt that my mom got me, and she said it was a horse shirt. She spent my whole life attacking my mom, and she would physically attack her. She would just spend every day talking bad about her to us. Really, she hurt us. She's one of the most evil humans I've encountered in my life. So one of the things is this, that when I was younger, I used to sing all the time. I loved singing. I sang my heart out all the time. And one day she came home from work and she went and started being an aide at the school. And she came home from work and she's like, Ashley, there was this girl at school and she was singing so pretty. I mean, she had the best voice in the whole world. It was the best voice I ever heard. And I said, oh, does she sing better than me? And she said, way better. And I swear to you, from that day on, I never sang in public or around anyone again my entire life until a few years ago. And I literally thought I sounded so bad. I was humiliated. So I never sang. And the first time I sang was literally a few years ago. Literally hammered, as drunk as anyone could be, barely standing. And my friend Jen made me do karaoke with her. And I've only actually done karaoke in public a few times. And I was obliviated and could barely sing the words. And, it took me being that drunk to have any confidence, right? So until I started doing the videos on Facebook for you guys, I've never sang in church. I've never sang, in front of people. My friend Jen and I would do karaoke, but that's it. I wouldn't, and I wouldn't do it like in front of other people. And also we'd be really drunk. So I never actually sang sober in my life. Till I started doing the video. So, it's praising Jesus, but it's also praising Jesus for my healing, and to have lifted that from my life. So I'm so passionate about bullying. Many of you know about what happened with work, about me being bullied by my manager because the guy she liked me, and she treated me god awful, to the point we had a big company meeting and she sat one person away from me. It was all the bosses, everyone. And the day before I left early because Joyce, Vianna's grandma went into hospice, and we were told, like, come say goodbye. So I left work to go say goodbye. So the very, very next day I was at work, and right as the meeting started, as we're all sitting, she looked at me and went, "So, your step grandma?" and smiled and said nothing else. And I sat in that meeting wanting to throw up, shaking. My whole body was locking because at this point I was having all the bad health issues. I was leaving my desk to go in the bathroom, hysterically cry, dry my face, and go back to work. I was throwing up nonstop because of the pain. So the day I got fired, it was the day she did that. And the second the meeting ended, I went outside and I walked and I cried, the hardest I've ever cried. And I said, "Jesus, you come down like a lightning bolt, like you did in the Old Testament, and you get me out of here right now. Get me out of here now, God." And I would have never, ever walked away ever, because I'm a single mom. I would have never given up my employment. I was almost getting into car accidents. I was pulling over on the side of the highway, literally puking and trying to get back on the highway most mornings to get to work. And I told her my health issues, and I was literally crawling down my staircase. I lived up 40 stairs to get to work, and I told her all my health issues. I told her about the locking up, everything, and we're allowed to work remote anytime we want. She literally told me I couldn't, to the point I went to HR, and nobody knew if this was a new policy because we're contractors, and I went to the other managers and they said it's a complete lie. She started telling me that I'm not allowed to go to medical appointments because she knew I had a lot. And the way my company worked, you didn't have to be logged on any specific time at all. In the course of 24 hours, you do your 8 hours, you could do 4 and 4, you could do 2 and 6, like it did not matter. That was the way it always was, and that was the flexibility I had the whole time, until the guy she liked sat at our company meeting and right in front of her kept telling me how he's single and about his wife and his past and his kids, and he made it very clear that there could be some feelings there, right? So since that day, she started bullying the crap out of me horribly. And I was just crying. I was shaking. The feeling of the person that's in charge of your livelihood trying to get you fired. And she eventually went to the client, the contractor, because we're contractors, and she complained about me to him and made up lies. So if they say, with being a contractor, they could just say you're fired on the spot, no reason, no anything. So they never give me a reason, nothing. But she went to the guy that and lied about it, and he believed her. So I have such a heart for bullying. So I'm going to talk about little bullies turn out to be big bullies, and I'm going to talk about the physical damage it does to people. And I can't say there's life and death in the tongue. I can't say a single religious word or about Jesus or anything religious. So I'm going to be speaking through the Holy Spirit. So Jesus will still be there and in the atmosphere, and there's going to be a lot of Christians there. So it still is going to be Jesus-led, even though we can't mention him. But So words, all these years later, they affect me and they affect everyone, and they leave scars on your soul. And kids don't realize the damage they're doing by bullying one another. So I just really want to bring attention to it. And she was my stepmom from literally birth. Like, she got with my dad when I was a teeny tiny little baby. Actually, my dad cheated on my mom with her, and she was such an evil woman that as my dad was still living there, still in a relationship with my mom, cheating on my mom with her, she came to my door smiling. Was like, I got gifts for the kids. And she literally tormented my mom. She abused my mom too, forever. My mom had to drive an hour and a half to pick us up. She wasn't allowed to step foot in my house a day in my life. So my mom never got to see my room. She wasn't allowed to come in and use the bathroom. Like, they abused her more than anyone could. And I spent my whole life crying, watching my mom so abused. So it really affected me, because not only was I being severely abused, but I was, the woman I love most in the entire world, watching her be abused. So it was a really challenging childhood, and that's not even an ounce of it, So I'm a huge advocate, and I'm going to keep being for bullying and protecting others, and I'm just so thankful to have this opportunity to speak on something that's so important in my heart. Mom has to take Viana to school before she gets me, so she's late. I'm hurting a lot today. So I'm excited to get this over with. I'm so thankful for the opportunity. I shouldn't say I'm excited to get it over with, but I really want to get back into bed. I'm actually pouring sweat everywhere. My temperature is a bazillion degrees. So, and it's only 65 in here, it sucks. I'm going to step outside so I could kind of cool down and praise Jesus and get my mind right. But I have a big foundation of things I'm going to speak on, and I couldn't be happier, and I think it's going to be a really, really good turnout. So again, anybody that wants to come and be part of it, if it's on your heart and you want to speak, the more the merrier, anybody could come and talk, and you just can't mention Jesus, because then they're not going to let me do the auditorium meeting. But look at my cat. Wait, can you see him? Hello, kitty. That's my cat. Okay. So Mom just texted me back, so she should be here. I'm going to talk to all the teachers I know, too, and I'm going to just round up as many people as I can for this. So my mouth is so dry, and I'm excited. I'm excited and I'm thankful, but I listen to some music and I can't really breathe. So I will see you guys and tell you how this goes, and just keep praying. So Mom will be here at 8:15. So I'm gonna do some karaoke and sing to the Lord. So bye, guys.